Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for taking out time to come for today's session. I hope I'm audible. And there was a glitch. I could not come live on Facebook, so I was, trying to come on my laptop and mobile, and finally I'm there. So first of all, hello everyone. This is the first time I'm coming on Skill Connect, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank Sonali. Thank you so much, Sonali, for giving me this platform. I'm really happy to be here and very excited about today's session. Today's session is how to enhance your self-image. So first of all, I will introduce myself and then we'll go forward. So hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you. My name is Urvashi Pachauri. I'm a soft skill facilitator, image consultant, etiquette trainer, and a career counselor. I've been in this field for quite some time, and I love training people, teaching people, whether it's the kids, youth, or the women or professionals. I really love my job. And today we have a very interesting topic which talks about how to enhance your self-image. So I'll start with a question. When you get up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror, what is it that you see? And what do you tell yourself? Just think about it. The first thing in the morning when you look in the mirror, what are your thoughts about it? Are they really pleasant thoughts which come in your mind? Because that internal voice is somewhere there which keeps talking and telling you that how are you, what is it? So when I get up early in the morning and look myself in the mirror while I'm brushing my teeth, I do tell myself that, you are a strong woman, you're a beautiful woman, and you're working really hard and you will reach there. It might take a little time, but you'll definitely reach there. And then I just forget and I get busy with my day-to-day chores, my kitchen work and other things. But have you ever listened to that voice inside? I listen to it, and that is what this topic is all about. It's about self-image. Self-image is something, your internal picture about what do you think about yourself. So when you look at yourself in the mirror, there are two things which you look at. One is the physical aspect, which is your physical structure, your hair, your eyes, your skin. The other thing is, if you go deep inside, you find that there is more than that. And that is what is your self-image, what you think about in the mirror. So it's something beyond the physical attributes, it's beyond the physical structure, it's beyond that. And that is what your self-image is. Now, let me share a very interesting story with you. When I was a kid, I was very conscious about myself. I always felt that I was a fat kid because I was really chubby with chubby cheeks and I was on the healthier side. And I always felt that I'm really fat. And I had this constant fear that if I become fat, none of my clothes would fit me. Oh God, what will I do? I will not be able to make friends, and so on and so on. And I had this weird kind of thing about my nose. I felt my nose, it's so ugly, it's so fat, oh my God, and I look horrible. And I decided that, I thought of a trick. So those clips which you put on the clothes to get dry, I used to take them, and before I used to go to sleep, I used to put it on my nose, thinking that, when I wake up in the morning, those clips would do the trick and my nose would become flat and it would become sharp. It is only after I went through that painful thing for so many days that I asked my mom that what do I do, because once I put those clips, I'm not able to breathe. And how will I get my nose to be sharp and flat and, really nice? And she looked at myself and she laughed and she said that, whatever the way you are, I love you the way you are. You don't need to have a sharp nose. It's absolutely fine the way it is. And no matter what happens, Mama is always going to love you and will always be there for you. I was very young at that time, and that thing really sat in my mind for a very long time. And after that, that thing of having a nose or those thoughts about myself actually just went away. They faded away. Doesn't that happen? I mean, now when I think about it, it sounds to be so funny. But yes, that's the ways are. When I think about it, how did that thought come in my mind? I realized that I think one of my friend or somebody from my class was making fun of me, and that remark was passed. And that sat in my head for such a long time. After so many years, I realized that I was such a fool, but I was just a kid. And that thing stayed on me for a very long time. So self-image is very important. About what do you think about yourself in the mirror. For me, it was a positive image. But if my mom wouldn't have helped me to get over that fear or that phobia, maybe I would have had a negative image about my physical appearance or about my nose, and that would have impacted me. In fact, they say that self-image is the foundation of a person. It affects the way you behave. It affects the way you behave and react to other people. In fact, it affects the relationships. It affects your personal life, your career, everything. It is so important because you might have best of clothes and best of accessories and designer shoes or anything, but if your self-image is poor, then nothing will work. So self-image is like a foundation. It has to be strong. If your foundation is strong, believe me, the building would be there, or you would be there, tall, standing tall, confident, with high esteem. But if the foundation is weak, no matter how much you cover it up with best of clothes or your work on your physical appearance, it is of no good. Like they say that if you paint an old building, with as much color as you can, but it will not be new. It will look good for a short period of time, but it will not be new. So it is very important to work on it. Next comes, how is self-image formed? For me, it started accumulating or started forming at a very young age, and it is very surprising if we see that. So who help us in forming those self-image? Now, when we are young, the first, or the people who are very close to us, for example, our family, siblings, caretaker, our neighbors, relatives, who are there, who are close to us or are in our immediate environment, they help us in forming a self-image. Now, it also depends on what kind of experience do you have from them. So for example, if my mother wouldn't have stepped up and told me that your self-image, no matter what is the shape of your nose, what is the shape of your cheeks, or what is it, we will still love you. I got a feeling that no matter what, I will always be loved unconditionally. So I was able to build a positive self-image. However, if your experiences with these people who are very close to you in your environment, if they are not so good, or probably if you have a bad experience, then that thing will be in your mind for a very long time. And that is something which will stay with you, even if you become an adult or grow older. So self-image is something which have to be worked on from inside out, not the other way around, because that will be just a quick fix, nothing else. Also, you need to have a positive self-image. So how do you build this positive self-image? Now, this is something, so yes, the people who are there close to you, they help you in forming a self-image. But whatever we learn from other people, from our environment, helps us to form those self-image. For example, it is something which is dynamic. It is something which is changing. Yes, when you are born with certain traits. For example, some people are tall, some people are short, because when I look at myself, I have a very average height. I'm just 5'2", which is the average height of the Indian women. But that does not mean that I don't have other things. So it continually grows with you, and this is a skill which you need to work on throughout. It is not something which will happen in a day or two. So you need to develop a positive self-image. Now, how do we develop a positive self-image? First, we need to assess whether we have a positive self-image or not. So I have a very interesting thing. I have a questionnaire, and I don't want this to be a monologue where I talk and you listen. I want it to be more understanding. So I have a questionnaire which is very interesting. I will talk about a situation. It has few options A, B, C, D, E. Tell me which one with you can relate absolutely well. And we will talk about this then more in detail. So first we need to check whether we have a positive self-image or not. So the first questionnaire, are we ready for it? Are we excited for it? Okay, so let's get started. First questionnaire invited you party. It's not a birthday, it's just a get together and you have nothing to wear. So these are the few options that I'm sharing with you. Option A is turn down. B is go. One knows that you don't need a new outfit. Option C is think of modifying your outfit and go and enjoy at the party. And the fourth one is realize invited. Go and have a lot of fun. Now I want you to pick one of the options. Option A, option D. So you need comments with which you relate the most. So think about it and give me, tell you what does it mean. So which is the best option that you will choose? Option A, turn it down. Option B, go, because everybody knows that you don't need a new outfit. C is think of modifying your outfit and go. And that okay, so I think not all of you okay, so I think I'll go one by one with the options. So option A is when you think that you want to turn it down. We don't have anything to wear and we think, oh, why should I go? What's the use? If you opt for option A, you are punishing yourself. I think you're being very hard on yourself. If you choose option B, that you are going, but not for the right reason. You're just, you feel that modifying your outfit, and fourth is realize that you were invited or not. So let me tell you that if you opt for and C, that means that you are not opting for the right reason. However, if you opt for option D, which says that you realize that you were invited, that is the best option of all. So doesn't it sound interesting that even there are so many factors which come in? This will just help you to realize what kind of self-image do you have and what kind of thing are you really trying to portray. Second question. Yes, so a close relative criticizes your job which you enjoy and are paid well. Option A is get a new job and which the relative approves of. Option B is you lie of why you're just pulling off this job. Option C is repeatedly question yourself. The option this is that is this job really right for me? And the last option, which is option D, is ask your people don't realize that the decision that they make is also based on what kind of a self-esteem and what kind of self-image they have. But the option 4, which is there where you okay, so yes, I think we missed the last part, which talks about if you choose option D, which talks about you ask your relative, why does she hate your job? Tell her that you love your job and how much does it mean to you, and explain it to her that yes, you know, she might disagree with this, but it's absolutely fine to agree to disagree. So this is one of the best option, which if you choose shows that you have self-confidence, you have a positive self-image, and you are willing to defend yourself. So these were just few questionnaires just to help you in realizing whether you have a positive self-image or a negative self-image. Because a lot of times we don't realize that what is it that we really have inside. Now, coming back again to self-image, I hope you all are there with me. So we just finished the questionnaire. Now we will move on to that. We continuously take information from our surroundings continuously since we are a kid to, as adults, and constantly keep imbibing and gathering information from our surroundings and evaluating it. So there are few things we keep asking ourselves internally. For example, how do I look? This is one very common thing a lot of people, I think even kids now these days, are very aware of the way they look, their clothes and everything. So we keep assessing ourselves on this. The second thing is, how am I doing in terms of being successful or not so successful? We keep assessing ourselves that, am I really doing well? Am I not doing well? Is there something which is stopping me? What is it? We keep assessing ourselves. The other thing is, how important am I for other people, in my family, with my friends, with the people that I'm really close to? Like, I remember when I was a kid, this concept was not so much about hugging your child and constantly telling that yes, I'm there for you. But these days it's become so important, and parents also realize. And the reason why this is very important is so that the child feels that yes, the family is there, my parents are there, they unconditionally love me. And the child somewhere develops this sense of has a positive self-image or a perception about himself or herself. So let's move forward and talk about what are the things, how does it impact us if we have a negative self-image? Now, if we have a negative self-image, we will only focus on our faults, things which we can't do, things which really are not really important, and we keep thinking about them all the time. And as a result, we have a low self-esteem. On the contrary, if a person has positive self-image, they will focus on the positive aspects. They will focus on their strengths. They will think about all the positive things they have. Also, at the same time, they will accept the things which they are not good at. They will accept it and they will try to work on it. So that is how our attitude should be. So what should we do? I think here most important thing is that we sometimes forget that yes, we have a lot of good qualities. So now the next activity that I have is, I have a big chunk of lot of good qualities which I will share with you. And I want you to remember that you have to remember your good qualities also. Now what I want you to do is, I will read all these qualities. I want you to identify with 3 such qualities or maybe 4 such qualities with which you are able to relate with, or these are things which people compliment you, with which you associate with this. This is nothing to do with your physical appearance. These are something to do the qualities that you have. Okay, so I will share these with you and identify which one is the closest to you. Adaptable, adventurous, ambitious, artistic, assertive, bindas, capable, caring, charming, cheerful, clever, compassionate, kind, likable, lovable, mature, modest, neat, nurturing, non-judgmental, open-minded, optimistic, organized, original, tactful, talented, trusting, trustworthy, unique, understanding, versatile, warm, witty, happy, creative, dynamic. So these are few words with which, there are few more also. Flexible, positive, pleasant, enthusiastic, energetic, generous, patient, spontaneous. So these are few things, and I'm sure a lot of you would be able to identify, because in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, we actually forget to appreciate ourselves and appreciate the fact there is so much that we have those qualities, but we do not compliment ourselves or probably give a pat on our back once in a while. So this is one activity which I share in my sessions. The other activity is that stand in front of the mirror and compliment yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and compliment yourself about others, about yourself, about maybe what others talk about you or tell you that, Urvashi, when you wear this pink color, it really suits you a lot. I really like your smile, or I really like the way you talk, or it can be anything. Compliment yourself about it every time you look yourself in the mirror, and keep doing this for 21 days. And you will realize that there has been so much of change in yourself. There's so much of positivity which comes. And why wait for others to compliment about ourselves when we can compliment ourselves every single day? So these are few activities which will help us in having a good self-image. Now, one thing, there are two aspects about self-image. One is that we went through right now is to have a positive self-image, the way we look at ourselves or what the picture of ourselves is there in our mind. The other thing is the physical appearance, the outer image, which is your physical attributes. For example, hair, eyes, skin, color, and your physical structure, all these things. But we need to focus more on internally, because if our foundation is strong, then of course we will have a good personality, we will have a good positive self-image, we will have good self-esteem. A lot of people ask me, Urvashi, what is good self-esteem? A lot of people, if you have a positive self-image, you will have good or a positive self-esteem about yourself, which talks about how much do you value yourself. If a person has negative self-image, the person will have a low or a poor self-esteem. And that is how you become a strong person or a better person. So I will give you a few statements, and I want you to check if you identify or what your answer is. Do you sometimes think, if somebody says a glass is half full, or is it half empty? Who do you relate with? The first one or the second one? I don't want you to answer, but think about it. Do you give up easily? Do you feel that you keep criticizing yourself a lot? Do you think that you over apologize? Do you feel that you constantly feel that I could have done much better, I am not able to do it, when will I able to do it? Do you keep criticizing yourself very harshly? Do you feel that you are not good as compared to others? So these are few checks that we need to do ourselves. And this is something which others will not be able to do it for us. We need to do it for ourselves. Like, for example, when the story that I shared of my childhood when I was a small kid, had I carried that negative thing with me, I would have always felt that my glass is half empty. But then if you see, there's a third perspective also about it, which talks about it's just a glass. I can fill it up anytime I want to, till the brim, as much I can. That is also a different way of looking at it. Now we'll move a little further. We have discussed about what is self-image, what is positive self-image, negative self-image, how is this self-image formed, what are the things in which we can check whether we have a positive or a negative thing. This impacts our self-esteem. But there are a lot of times that a person has a very good self-image, a good self-esteem, very hardworking, very talented, but somewhere they feel that they are not able to be successful. That is also another part of it. Like, I remember there was a friend of mine in my friend circle. She is an architect. She's very talented and she's really good at her job. But she shared with me one day that, Urvashi, the kind of business that I should be getting, or the kind of work that I should be getting, I'm not getting it. And I fail to understand what is the reason. And when we sat and discussed about it, we realized that she was not able to project the right image. So yes, we do have an image. It is a positive one, but it's also important to project the right image in front of or with others. Right? I'm sure you all would agree. So when I spoke with her, I realized that she had an attitude, or she had the feeling that I am the way I am. I don't need to do anything. I have nothing to prove to the world, and I just like the way I am. And when I spoke with her, I realized that when you meet other people, you are giving the impression that yes, I'm very talented, but I am not able to project the right image in front of them. So what is stopping you? So I realized that there is something which she is not able to project well, though her communication skills were very good. Then I noticed that she didn't dress up the way or project her right image in front of her clients. She always felt that casual jeans or probably ripped jeans with flip-flops were good enough for her work. And when she used to go and meet clients there, the client had a very different perspective about her. And at times they would say that, I will think about it and get back to you, but they never got back to her. And that is where the area that we worked on. So I told her, I shared with her that why don't you work on these 4 elements, which I would like to share with you also. So to project the right image and leave a lasting impression on people, yes, our image also has to be very strong, but there are 4 elements which are very important. So let's look at these 4 elements, which are your clothing and grooming. The other is your body language and etiquette. And in the end, or the last, is your communication skills. Now, doesn't it happen that you walk in a room full of people, and people who are in there, they have already formed an impression about you. You haven't even spoken a single word, but they already have formed a perception in their minds that, okay, she is like this, so on and so forth. And they feel that this is the impression and this is how she is. But when they talk to you, they probably realize that that is not what it is. I will like to take my example. Sometimes, especially in my professional career, I came across as somebody who wouldn't talk much. So people felt that I was introvert. Maybe I didn't want to interact with other colleagues or my boss. But when they started knowing me, gradually they realized that no, she is somebody who doesn't like to talk a lot. Probably she likes to talk inside the cafeteria or probably during the lunch break. But however, if something was related to work, she is very good at work and she is very professional. So it happened like that with my friend as well. And when we worked on that, it really made a lot of difference to her, and she was able to relate a lot better with her clients. So I would like to share this thing with you. Do you remember as kids, you would always pick up the shiniest thing which came across, when you saw things? So the shiniest dress, the shiniest present, the shiniest color, the brightest color. So even when we grow up, we have the same thing. We go for the brighter colors. We go for the shiniest thing. We go for fancy things because that is something which really catches our attention, even when we grow up. What I'm trying to say here is that visual clues or cues are very important when you make a decision. Whether it's an interview, whether it is a negotiation, when you're sitting on a negotiation table with your client, or you're cracking a deal, or probably you're just talking casually. Your physical appearance is very important in making an impact here. Here we are not just talking about wearing designer clothes and fanciest of handbags and shoes. Here we are talking about your grooming also. How have you styled your hair? What is it that that you're wearing, what kind of colors that you're wearing. Are you wearing clothes which really suit you, or are you wearing very skinny and tight clothes which we are making uncomfortable? What it is. Are you exhibiting that you are a very confident person with the kind of colors that you're choosing, with the kind of clothes that you're wearing, or the style which enhances your appearance? What is it? So that plays a very important part. There are other things also which come in grooming, for example, your hygiene, body odor. I remember my ex-boss, he used to call us and say that, okay, come for a meeting. And we all used to say that, no, we are not free. Why don't you take it tomorrow? And we didn't like the idea of getting into a cabin in a meeting with him. And we all knew that his body odor was so much that at times it used to really put us off, and it was very difficult to convey to him. Later on, I think somebody told him that, you should take care of it because your team members are badly getting impacted with it. And that really affected him, and he took care of it. So these are small, small things which go in your personal hygiene also, which you should take care of. Now, if we move further, the other thing is about your behavior, which really helps us to create a good impact. Behavior here would be how we can take it into two ways. One is how do you conduct yourself, and the other is how do you behave with others. So when we talk about your behavior, it talks about, do you leave a positive impression on people, or do you leave a negative impression on people? Like, there are people, I'm sure you would be able to relate to it, that when you meet certain people, they are so positive and you feel, oh wow, even after they leave the room, you feel, wow, it was such a pleasure talking to this person or interacting with it. Hasn't it happened with us? And there are people with whom you don't want to interact. You feel they are so negative, or you feel that you don't want to interact with them at all. So these all things exhibit in your behavior. The other thing which comes here is that how do you react or behave with other people? Are you kind? Are you polite? Do you respond positively to their necessities? Are you empathetic with them? Whether it is personal, whether it is professional. So these all things come here. And it ultimately then reflects in your body language also. Are you courteous to people? If somebody is talking, do you keep interrupting them? Or how is it? So these all things come in your body language and etiquette, which is really important in today's world, whether it is professional, whether it is personal. And it is very surprising that the last part is communication. People think that, if you are able to speak really well, you will be able to, crack a deal or make a lot of friends. But believe me, communication is something which comes, people judge you in the end. So when I step into a room, people have already formed image. And according to study, it is found, which was done by Mehrabian, if you've gone through it, I'm sure you would understand that 55% importance is there, or that part is there in visual communication. So that is so much important. So now let's talk about communication. Communication verbal is very important. However, the means of communicating now have changed. I'm sure all of you would agree with it. It is not just interacting face to face. That is one part of it. Also, how do you conduct yourself through different mediums? For example, Facebook Live, where I'm interacting with all of you. I'm not face to face, but I'm still communicating with you. If I'm communicating on the mobile where I can't see the person, probably I can just talk. The person will be able to know everything. Even if I smile, or even if I'm not able to say something, the person will be able to understand. Doesn't it happen that when you're not well and you're talking to your mother, your parents, or probably to your sibling or friend, the moment they listen to your voice, they'll say, is something wrong? Are you not feeling well? Doesn't it happen? Though they can't see me face to face, but still they are able to relate that today she's not feeling up to the mark. Maybe she's not well, or maybe she's disturbed, or something like that. So these are different ways of communication. and the ways of communication have totally changed in today's world. But the basic of communication will remain same. So let's see what are the different basics of communication. Now, when we talk to somebody, there are a few things that we have to keep in mind, and I would like to share these tips with you. The first thing is that whenever you communicate with somebody, first, very important thing is listen. When you listen carefully to the other person, the person, first of all, will feel good about that this person is listening. The person's self-esteem will go high. The person will feel important. And then whatever you want to say, then say after the person has finished talking about themselves. Doesn't it feel that sometimes when you talk to your friend, she is a very good listener? You feel, wow, she listens so much to me every time I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling happy. You feel so good about it. And every time there's some gossip or some news, you always want to share with that special friend. Doesn't it happen? Why? Because the person is a very good listener. So try and inculcate that thing in yourself as well. The other thing is that paraphrase. Try and understand what the other person is saying and try and put it across in your own words so that you know that this is what the person is saying. Doesn't it happen that in meetings, especially after the person finishes, the person who's taking or the person who's heading the meeting will paraphrase everything what every person has said and kind of then in the end summarize, so that everybody is on the same page. Here we are not just talking about a professional setup. Here we are also talking about if two friends are talking together. And the other very important thing is if somebody is talking, do give acknowledgement. For example, if somebody is saying, okay, oh wow, that was wonderful. So try and give these acknowledgements to the other person so that the other person knows that, okay, this person is listening to me. The other thing is avoid a lot of fillers. For example, okay, Try and give good acknowledgements to the person. Try avoid doing or filling in with a lot of things. That really breaks the kind of momentum that we have with other people. And very important thing, don't talk too much. There are a lot of friends of mine who talk so much and they don't give a chance to the other person, and you feel, oh my God, there's something so important I want to share, but I'm not able to. So don't talk too much. I'm not saying don't interact, do interact, but also give the other person a chance to say something. So these are few tips which is there. Also, when you talk, your rate of speech should not be very fast, should not be very slow. It should be just right. I remember I had a trainee. He was excellent in his work, but when he would take calls on the floor, his rate of speech was so high that the customers would actually bang the phone down, and that really would affect him quite a lot. And we really worked on his rate of speech. He was not able to understand that why is it that when he talks to the customers on the phone, they bang the phone, or they get so irritated and angry that they just keep the phone, or they keep telling him, why don't you repeat it again? And they are very frustrated at the end of the conversation. Later on, when I explained to him that his rate of speech was really high, he worked on it. And then later on, the quality of his calls really improved. So try and avoid these small things. The other things which are there is that when you talk to the other person, have eye contact with the person. There are a lot of times where people just look down or they look here and there. They will not talk to the person, where their eye contact is there. And that is something which shows that you're not confident enough and you are giving a different signal to the other person. Try and avoid that. Also, when you talk, your hand gestures and movements should not be so much that the person with whom you're talking is distracted or is not able to focus on what you're trying to say. What is the message that you're trying to give to the other person? So try and remember about these things. In the professional environment, it is also very important that you use a firm handshake. That also comes in a way in which you can communicate with other person. Use a firm handshake. It should not be very sweaty. It should not be very limp, but just the right way where you pump 2-3 times and that's enough. So these are few things which you should inculcate while communicating. Also, don't bite your nails. I know this sounds really weird, but there are people who bite their nails, or they have a habit of, taking out their skin and things like these, which are habits. So work on these things. So that is all about today's session. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and we'll just go through it. One quick recap about what we did in today's session for the people who have just joined us or who were not there throughout the session. So we spoke about self-image. What is self-image? How is self-image formed? What are the things which help in forming a self-image? What you either have a positive self-image or you have a negative self-image. How do you check if it is positive or negative? How do you enhance your self-image where it becomes better? And this is something which is dynamic. Remember, this is something which you have to keep working on, practice on it. And the other thing which we did was with the questionnaire, the positive exercise which I told you. There were two things which I spoke and shared with you. The other is looking into the mirror and giving positive compliments or affirmations to yourself. And the other where I spoke about all the qualities which were there. At these, there were 25 qualities with which you identify yourself, the positive thing. Also, remember that it is not just the physical aspect or the physical attributes which are important, the outer appearance. It is also the inner image, your inner self, which is important, because that is the foundation of your image, which will enhance or which will affect your relationships, your work, your professional relationships, your family life, everything. We also spoke about how to project the right image with 4 elements, which are clothing, grooming, and body language and etiquette. And the last one, which is communication. We don't just have to work on one of the attributes, but we have to work on all of them, because that is how it will then impact us and help us to project a right image. We also spoke about these aspects in detail, which is about your appearance, your body language, behavior, and of course, your communication. So I would like to wrap up today's session. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I work with people to enhance their self-image and their self-attributes, which will help to project a positive image. And I'm also a soft skill trainer, facilitator. So if you feel that you want to connect with me for anything which you feel that is required, or if there's anything that you have a question in mind and want to get it answered, do connect with me personally and I would be happy to help you. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Sonali for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate getting me on board for today's session. Thank you so much. So till we meet again, do keep learning and keep appreciating yourself, because you are unique. So I would like to end today's session on this positive note. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.